Alrighty everybody, it is now June 2nd of 2022. Just the other day we got the third episode of the Obi-Wan Kenobi TV show. A lot of fans seem to have mixed reactions on a lot to do with, of course, the Vader and Kenobi confrontation and exactly everything that happened beforehand. But on top of all of that, we already know that John, George, and Dave are working on a handful of other Star Wars TV shows that are really going to steer Star Wars in a different path. Now, let's not forget that Kathleen Kennedy's partitions of the Obi-Wan Kenobi movie's script actually made its way into the Kenobi series here and there. And I think that has a lot to do with why there are sprinkles of Kathleen Kennedy material in the Kenobi series. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars updates. Also, by the way, guys, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support. It is greatly appreciated. Now, one thing about the new approach to the Star Wars universe is that they are going to be taking key elements from Star Wars Legends, as well as a lot to do with the fact that there are a lot of things being made by John and Dave Filoni to make things possible. So basically what they will be doing with shows like the Ahsoka Tano series, Mandalorian Season 3 and 4 is that they are going to be looking at the highlights of Legends. We're talking about the Thrawn trilogy, the New Jedi Order, Shadows of the Empire, and a lot more to come for this new Star Wars universe at heart. Now, with that being said, however, we already know that Jon Favreau recently confirmed that The Mandalorian Season 4 is currently in the works as we speak, and that he's working very hard on this with Dave Filoni. So that's one thing to be very well aware of, is that that series in particular is going to be something new in and of itself. So, with that being said, what's really all the more exciting is exactly what they have planned for The Mandalorian Season 4 and exactly how it's going to progress the character of Din Djarin, Grogu, and yes, even Luke Skywalker in the show. Now, with both John and Dave working now on The Mandalorian Season 4 storyboards before they begin writing the script in the coming weeks, they both have extensive plans on how to use Luke Skywalker in the 4th season of the show that is going to surprise many fans around the globe. Now, it's described that one of the most important storyboards that was already developed from Mando's 4 that will be finalized to be used in the script is set to utilize a scene in which Din Djarin travels to Luke Skywalker's second Jedi temple on Yavin 4, just like in Star Wars Legends, and seeks Luke Skywalker's help. This is where Din Djarin begins to talk to Luke about rumors of a new order being built in secret, which could likely allude to the infancy of the First Order. However, this is where Luke Skywalker begins to inform Din Djarin that he is indeed Force-sensitive, and questions Din Djarin to actually examine the Darksaber. This is a moment in which the series of storyboards are being developed and being created by John and Dave that begin to illustrate Luke Skywalker holding and wielding the Darksaber for the very first time, after igniting it, and begins to tell Din Djarin the full story of Tar Vizsla, who was both a Jedi and the Mandalorian. Now, this then begins to progress to a scene in which Luke Skywalker begins to inform Din Djarin about new secrets related to the Darksaber. While Luke and Din are talking to each other, a handful of Luke Skywalker's Jedi students can be seen training in the background. Now, Luke's second Jedi temple, in case you guys did not know, is going to be based on Yavin 4, and is best described to be geared toward older Jedi students, such as Kyle Katarn, who will also be a part of the Mandoverse, and other Jedi students as well. While his first temple, which is the Jedi School essentially, which is the one seen in both the Book of Boba and Last Jedi, is geared toward young Jedi students, which is also a secret Jedi location that nobody outside of his school knows about. Now, let me just stop right here for a second. Now, in case you guys did not know, is that they will be expanding Luke Skywalker's Jedi Academy in a lot of the upcoming Star Wars shows. That's basically what Jon Favreau wants to do, and I think that's one thing to be very much, excited about, is because they're taking a lot of elements, core elements, I must be specific, from Legends, and the fact that they will be giving him another Jedi temple that will be based on Yavin 4 is a big deal. Basically, this other secret Jedi school, quote-unquote, that you do see in The Last Jedi and in the Book of Boba is actually his backup Jedi temple. Now, that's the main reason as to why he doesn't tell anybody about it outside of his school, except for Leia and Han. That's it. I don't know if you guys know about the lore or the actual Star Wars canon, but in the canon, if you guys research, Luke Skywalker never told anybody else about that Jedi temple in particular, other than his sister and Han Solo. So on top of all of this, alright, moving on from all of that, Luke then begins to levitate the darksaber hilt by using the Force and begins to tell him the story of Tar Vizsla. This is where a full-on flashback scene is planned for Mando 4, where Tar Vizsla will be seen for the very first time on screen and showing fans exactly how the darksaber was developed. Tar Vizsla is seen on a lava-filled world that is near similar to Mustafar, however different than, of course, that world as far as the terrain goes, and is seen in the background where Vizsla is molding the hilt of the darksaber and using many pieces, levitating it in the air, using the Force, putting it together piece by piece, eventually forming the darksaber and igniting it for the very first time. Given that Tar Vizsla is also a Jedi and a Mandalorian, Luke Skywalker eventually hands Din the darksaber back to him and begins to train Din Djarin on using the darksaber correctly, much like Tar Vizsla did many years ago. Now, the ultimate decision to make Din Djarin Force sensitive by John and Dave is said to be a big plan in the works to build Din Djarin up to be the new, modern version of Tar Vizsla, who will either become both a Jedi and a Mandalorian, or just a Force-sensitive Mandalorian that will progress with his new powers in the show. This is said to be the big turning point for Mando Season 4 in 2024. Now, the thing that I think a lot of fans need to be aware of, and this is very important, is that everything related to The Mandalorian Season 4 is that initially, and we talked about this already, initially they wanted to make the 4th season the last season. That's no more. Basically, John and Dave said this outright the other day, that they plan on expanding The Mandalorian as much as they can. You know, it's kind of similar to other franchises out there like Cobra Kai, where they originally wanted to stop at Season 3, but now they're expanding to a Season 4, 5, 6, and so on and so forth, right? So they're doing a lot of things with that. And I think that when you look at everything related to, you know, The Mandalorian Season 4 here and how it's going to involve Tar Vizsla, that's a big deal. I don't know about you guys, but I think that The Mandalorian story is getting more and more interesting by kind of dragging in the whole Force sensitivity aspect and having Tar Vizsla as the very first Mandalorian-esque Jedi, and how Din Djarin is gearing up to become the modern version of all of that. That, to me, I think is going to be a very big deal for the Star Wars fandom, and I think it's a very risky one at that. I will agree, it is a very risky decision on John and Dave's part, but I think that if handled correctly, they can really get this down very well for the fandom to enjoy, without a doubt. Again, I think that so far, The Mandalorian as a series is moving along very, very well, and everything related to the Kenobi series is a little on and off because, let's not forget, a lot of tidbits that were created by Kathleen Kennedy made its way into the show. Original scripts of the actual movie for Kenobi made its way into the series, so just be aware about that. So, like I said, guys, you know, drop a comment below. Let me know all this in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.